Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to another exciting episode of Psychology Talks. And since May has started, and May is the month of mental health awareness, so I dedicate all my episode during this month to mental health awareness, and we'll mostly talk about about the importance of mental health and how you can maintain mental well-being. So all of my guests throughout the month will be sharing their inspiring stories that how they manage their mental well-being amidst all the chaos and confusion and during the challenging time. So, in that regard, my today's guest is also one of the a brave lady, and her story is inspiring to many people. She has dealt with toxic relationship, and she bravely fought it and came out of it. So she will share that how she handled that toxic relationship, how she came out of it, and so other people can also learn about it. One thing that I want to highlight here is that most of the time people get stuck in the circumstances, and they usually think that mental health or maintaining a mental health is not a big deal or is not as important as maintaining physical health. But let me tell you that this is most important factor in the life. You can have some physical disability and survive, but if you are not mentally well, it will affect all your aspect of your life. So if you have a good mental health, you are bound to succeed in every aspect of the life. But if you are like all perfect in other aspect of life, and if you don't have a good mental health, you are bound to have a miserable life. So let's discuss today's topic, and let me introduce my guest. My today's guest is Andrea Stadhalter, and she is the certified life coach and mediator coach. She has over a decade of experience with commercial education environment. She has worked with like multinational companies, but she has found a particular calling, not least the interest. Like she has the calling to help other women escape abusive relationship in order to end their mental and emotional pain at the hands of narcissistic partner. So let's welcome Andrea. Hello, Andrea. Very
Hi,
warm welcome to Psychology Talks. And thank you for joining us today. How are you?
thank you for having me. I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you all to our audience who have joined. Let's see, like Lygia is saying hi. Hello, Lygia. She's a good friend.
She is.
And Christopher is also saying hi. And then there's people from like Lynn is from Boston, and there's some people that I don't know, the LinkedIn user says I don't know your name, but maybe you can share your name in the chat so I can show your name here. Len is saying like I'm from Florida. Hi, Len. So, and thank you for joining everyone. So I given a very brief introduction about you, India. So before I start our discussion, let's tell our audience about yourself and give them a little bit of introduction that how was your life and what are your experience, what are your struggles, so our audience get to know you better.
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to say is I started helping only women, but I actually changed it because I got a lot of contacts from men who are in the same situation and they also do not have anybody to talk to. So that's when I decided I am open to help men and women in toxic relationships. And how did it start for me? Well, I was I was raised in a middle class family, and my mom, she was 40 when I was born, and
Oh,
she was well, she was not ready for another child. Yeah, I was number seven. And she was an entrepreneur, and in those days it was quite yeah, it was different to be an entrepreneur at woman being away from home or working. And so I was taken care of by my sisters a lot, and they differ 5 and 7 years with me. And somehow that's the age I created this thought within me that I wasn't good enough, but also that I wasn't worthy of love. And so when I had the right age, I started looking for love, and that's how I yeah, constantly met the wrong guy. I went from one I fell from one relationship into the other, and yeah, they were never a good fit. Let's put it that way. Until I met my husband, and I really thought that he was my prince, and there was something off the whole time. We were together almost 20 years, and I must say, we didn't live together all these 20 years because he worked abroad. So we saw each other either in when he was on vacation, or later it was weekends. And so when we finally, after 17 years, we got married. And then in the same year, he got made redundant, and he was home a lot. And this is when I realized that was when the time became really harder. I really realized more the things which were off, because all in almost in all these 20 years, he always talked about himself, and everything he touched in life he turned into being a victim. Whatever it was, either a victim of his parents' divorce, or and then it was with work. And he was the typical narcissist, let's put it that way, who would tell his boss how to do his work. And that also yeah, he got sacked because of that. I mean, who won't understand? And so when we finally started to really living together, I how can I put it the best way? You He is a covert narcissist, so you don't realize that they are. It's such
yeah,
a secret type of narcissist. And it's also for professionals, it's very difficult to recognize. I was asked once whether he was one, and I said, no, 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 he's just extremely self centered.
yeah,
But yeah, there were times I, there were times that it was not, it, how can I say, he was always talking about other women. He always pointed out other good looking women in our neighborhood, wherever we were.
yeah,
That was extremely difficult to deal with.
yeah,
I then started to point out those women myself, because it made it a lot easier. Stuff like this. So
yeah,
you don't feel respected. Huh? You have
yeah,
you always have this feeling that you are not good enough, and you are not good enough, because whatever you do, it's not good enough. You can't
yeah,
satisfy them. And at a point, I had started drinking. I had come in across a group of women, and they were all drinking. And I got involved, and I unfortunately reached the point that they could stop and I couldn't stop. And when I had an accident one night,
yeah,
and yeah, we were been out with some friends, and I fell. You have in the Netherlands, you have a really well high. They're not mountains, but high dunes. Yes, and I
Yeah.
fell off a dune, and
Oh,
because I had the alcohol, I was not controlling my running off of that dune, and I fell on the road. I smashed my face, broke my wrist, and that was the moment I thought, "Whoa, this is really going wrong." And my friends left me there because they all had a drink, and nobody could take me into the hospital. So I had to go and wake up my son, and I will never forget his face. His face was out. He was frightened. He was in pain seeing me like this, and that was the moment I decided I want to live. I want to change this, and I wanted to live for my children. Yeah, I wanted to live for my children. I wanted to make a change for my children because to see your child like this is unbearable. And when we were there in hospital, I told him, okay, you better inform your aunties, my sisters, and he did. And that was the start of me. Yeah, changing. And as soon as I always say, as soon as I dried up, which is not a nice thing, but actually it takes 3 days or so, then everything is out of your system, and then it's only left in your mind, huh? So when I had my first session, why would I drink? My answer was, I need to leave my husband. I had no idea that this was coming. And when that was on the table, I started arranging my escape. I uh, I put my apartment on the market for sale. I filed for divorce, and that was the time. That was the time when the struggle really started. I will not lie about this. It's not the moment you leave and you make that clear. That is the moment you really see how your narcissist is. And I had always said to him, I don't feel safe, and I couldn't handle his lies. That was the worst part for me was lies. I don't I hate lies. It's one of my things. I can't handle it, not at all. Even little lies, like when when my son was denying something, like kids do. I don't like that at all. And this lying of a narcissist, it's, I mean, they do it in such a way, and they do it so precisely that they believe in their own story. Yeah, they really go deep in this story. And some there were days that my son said, "Mom, I just can't handle I can't handle this man lying. I just can't handle it." And I said, "It's his story. This is his reality, but it's not our reality." Yeah. And so when I left, I went into hiding. The apartment was sold, and we had seen each other in front of the judge for the first time. And that's when I left the country, and I went in hiding, and it was deepest lockdown. It was terrible, with 2 cars and all the little stuff I had left. And yeah, we went. My sister, they picked me up, and I went to live in a small town in Germany. And this is yeah, I was alone. Most of the time I'm still alone, because leaving your family like this. My kids they are grown-ups. They're 24 and 28. They live their own lives, huh? So I have now the freedom of living my life. But yeah, of course, then being alone, you have all the time to think. and to start working on yourself. And I got some help from a colleague because we all we may be coaches and but we are also human and we are very hard on ourselves. Yes. And I got some help, and we worked on the issues. And this is when I found that I always thought that my thought, my limiting belief, keeping me stuck in this relationship was that I was not good enough. But that's in those days I found that I was not. I felt that I was not worthy of love, and
Yeah.
not loving yourself means having no respect for yourself, huh? And my life showed that. So I was really not proud of myself,
Yeah, yeah.
and I
So, I
needed to
mean,
change.
yeah, thank you. I mean, your story is actually quite similar to a lot of people who have been living in same situation. And I'm so glad that you actually took the courage to move out from that relationship, because what happens is, like, most of the time people start believing what the narcissistic partner actually keep telling them. Like, as you mentioned, that he was self-centered and he was not giving you the respect that you deserve, and then of course it was hurting you. It was actually having like the negative effect on your mental health. So at that point in time, I feel that people need to realize that they need to be loved, they need to be respected. And when there is a disbalance in the relationship, this is the time when they need to come out. And this is definitely not an easy task, especially like as you mentioned that it took 20 years for you even to come out from that. And I think it at every in every relationship, as you said, that there was an accident or there was some sort of a jolt you need to come out from that, because there's like the point where a threshold point till that you can actually tolerate all the nonsense from the other partner. But I think that point is needed to realize that, okay, this is the time and you need to move on. So it was, I know it, you had gone through tough time, but the thing is that I always say that these tough times are there. There's a reason for them, and you had realized the reason. You are actually now using those tough times to help others, and that is, I think that was the time, that was the reason for your tough time, that you learn from this, and now you're spreading the goodness to help actually other women and other people to save from such relationships. So now moving on to the question that, as you mentioned that, like there was a, like the relationship was toxic and it was very difficult, it was suffocating to live in.
Yeah.
But what are the point you would say that the person would say, okay, this is the time enough for them? How to actually identify those
Oh, I think you're stuck.
time, and that, yeah, in relation sometimes that you have to do sometimes more, you have to put in effort. But what is the time that you need to decide that, okay, this is not for me? What are the moments? What are these?
Well, of course, there is the disrespect, as you already mentioned. Then there is the lies, and you have not the support you're supposed to have in a normal relationship. People support each other, and in every relationship you have conflicts, huh? And I always use this. I have this example of a cup, and when I always ask them, what side do you see? Yeah, do you see the side with a handle or without? Then they
Yeah,
say, yeah, okay, it's without, but there is a handle, as you can
yeah,
see. But the narcissist will always make sure that you only see this side.
yes,
So what happens is you will start doubting yourself. There are things happening, things said, and you wonder if this is true. I remember morning that I was in the bathroom, and he came in and he said, "You must make sure that your body is seen by no one." And I was like, "What?" And I accused him of saying this later, and in every fight we had. And he always said, "No, I didn't. I never said that. I never said that." And I knew it as clearly as I was
Good.
1,000% that he had said it. But that's an example. These are the things that,
Yeah,
and you think by yourself, am I going crazy? Is this playing in my head? These are the things. And also, yeah, the lying, because you get this, you notice it, huh? And you notice that there is something missing in the story, and you also start noticing that they sit down and get a lie together so that it fits. Yeah,
yeah,
they just I saw my husband dealing with paperwork for weeks, months even, until he had the story in such a way that he believed it, and he could then sell it as such. Yeah.
yeah,
And these are the signs. And the disrespect, you when you look at them um, unnoticed, you will see that they look at you with a disgust. You
yeah,
see, the thing is, the more you care and the more you give yourself, the more they will disrespect you. That's the thing. I
yeah,
have learned that it's a vicious circle between the narcissist and the overly empath, huh? Because you are overly caring, and they feed themselves constantly, because you, the empath, you love giving and
yeah,
caring, and you just can't stop. Yeah. And
yeah,
he feeds himself because he needs somebody to look down
yeah.
on, to make them look small.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
you rightly pointed out. I mean, I think as I said, like the relationship should never be one-sided. It shouldn't be like you giving and giving, giving, giving. Yes, there are times that in relationship one needs to give more, and we need to have some less expectation from the other partner. But the thing is that when we are giving, we at some point in time we need support as well, because especially in a relationship where, like, be it professional or personal, even if you have a career, you cannot just give your time
Mm-mm.
and money and it's like efforts to the company and they are not giving you back anything. Similarly, even in the personal relationship, you cannot just keep on giving to the person, and that person to and give them the opportunity to use you for everything. So I think that when there is a disbalance, like especially like you keep on giving, 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 and you're not getting anything in return, so this is the actually a warning sign. This is the time that one needs to see that something's going wrong. And the other thing that you really rightly said, that at the time, like they like narcissist person, like a personality, they will look at you with disgust, like no matter what you do for them, they will never recognize your effort or something, and like they think they have the right to make you feel bad or make you feel that you are not worthy of it. And I think this is the time when person should make a decision that if the person is not giving respect, is not acknowledging the effort, then there is a time that it's draining your energies, it's draining the physical energies, mental energies. And when it starts to happen, then a person should make a choice that they need to move out from the relationship. Now this leads to another question that, okay, like we are stuck in such relationships sometimes, and we do realize, but I've seen many women, especially, that they are highly dependent on their spouse, like, in terms of finance, in terms of like social status. So how to handle this, like, because sometimes like they cannot move out because of they are highly financially dependent on them. So, or maybe for some, like maybe they might be emotionally dependent, they might be other like dependent on them. So how to deal with toxic relationship in that situation when the person is completely dependent on their narcissist person.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that is it's doable. What I'm saying now, it is
Yeah.
not going to be easy, but the first
Yes.
step is to actually acknowledge to yourself that it is a toxic relationship.
Yes.
The next part is to decide to see your role in it, your part. And when you have come to the conclusion that you are giving too much, then there is time to start on creating the love for yourself. And this is what I'm always going on about. And it's possible. It's not easy. But it's never easy. And with
Yeah.
this, within this relationship, it will be, yeah, even harder. The one thing I can give others is make sure that you stop hiding your life. Find someone you can trust, and don't do that with your mind. Do it with your gut feeling. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
And because there you will find that there are many you cannot trust because they all believe the story of your partner. And
Yes.
then what you need to do, make time for yourself, go out yourself. don't go don't go constantly. What I was constantly with him when he was around, constantly. They
Yeah.
follow you everywhere,
Yeah.
and they make sure that you're not alone. Find a way to be alone, and then also start working on, I always say, start with an affirmation program. Just
Yeah.
listen to it every morning and write down yourself what really is. Start with what is good about me, what is not so good about me. Accept that there is a side of you who's not so good. Yes,
Yes.
but
Yes.
the affirmations, if you listen to them every morning, they will help you to get into the right body vibe, the vibes around you, which will make you stronger. And then you start and go and start exercising. The next step is also try meditation, because with meditation it helps you get balance in life, and it helps you to empty your to empty your mind, and then it can be filled again, huh? Because it's
Yeah.
better if you empty it one time a day, and then because it will be filled with so much crap
Yeah.
from yourself, but also from your partner. And you will see that when you start doing this, you're actually because I'm not the only one with the alcohol problem, huh? There are many in this sort of relationship that have these bad habits. That's either alcohol, it's drugs, it's overeating, not eating
Yeah.
enough, and
Yeah.
throwing up the food, and all this, it plays a role. And when you start to exchanging the habits with good ones, you will start feeling stronger, and you will start also being, you will be able to not get affected. So when there is, for example, when there is an attack, you just let it happen. You leave the room. You get the confidence to just leave him, her, with their fire, and you just blow it out. You just
Yeah.
blow it out like this. You just stop reacting. That's the base. That's the point. And what will really happen to everyone is also because they are getting more confident, they start thinking in a different way. And I have a client, she is now, she was really in a bad situation, but she's now, she got herself a little job and she's looking for even better jobs, huh? So that she is financially independent. And the moment when she reaches this, she will not stop until she has reached that, and then she will leave them, because that is what it is. The healthiest way is to leave, for sure.
Yeah,
But it's not always possible, as we said, and but you can make your way towards it. And
yeah,
what also can happen when you start not reacting anymore, that they lose control over you, and it can happen that they leave you before you are even ready. Yes,
yeah,
they
yeah.
leave
That's
you
true.
because
Yeah,
their
yeah.
playmate is gone.
Yeah,
Their
yeah. Very
playmate is gone.
absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful advice. I would completely agree with you that the way you said that, first, the first step is self awareness. As you mentioned, first we need to acknowledge that, okay, this is the toxic relationship. Then you need to have your awareness about yourself, as you said, that you need to write down your strength, your weakness as well. Accept it that, okay, this is your good point and this is your weak point. And then, as you mentioned, that we need to make a plan, right? Like, for example, find a trusted friend or the way out, that what you can do being in that circumstance, because there is always a way out. It's not possible that if that there is no solution of your problems. There is always a solution. It's just a matter of, change your thinking or start looking for the opportunities. So this like these are the points that, like, if you listen to if you follow the advice of Andrea, then that is how you can actually make an exit plan from the toxic relationship. As like it's saying that, walk away when you give so much, don't get back in return. Absolutely. So we can continue this chat for like hours, but I'm afraid we are reaching to the end of our show. So it was a like great discussion, and I'm sure our audience has learned a lot from your experiences. Before we finish our end our show, what one advice would you give to our audience today?
Listen to your inner voice, because when you feel there's something off, there is something off. Just give
Yeah.
in to it. Give in to it, listen to it, and make the first steps. Make the first steps to come to find a better life. Because this is not a life. This is a nightmare. It's living in a night, like in a nightmare, in a bad dream. You live in a bad dream. Find yourself the dream how your life should look like, and go and work on it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's the wonderful advice. I mean, everyone in this world has a right or deserve to live in happiness. So I would agree with you that, we should never compromise on our happiness, on our mental peace. Like, whatever the circumstances and relationships we have, they should give you some mental peace. And if you're not getting the mental peace, that means there is some problem in it and you need to fix it, and try to fix it first, because they not everyone is a narcissist personality. Not everyone is a bad person. It's maybe there could be some misunderstanding or something. So first, work out on the relationship. But if you think that all of your efforts are not working out, then it is the best way to actually part ways and leave that toxic relationship, because nothing is more expensive than your, than anything that costs your mental peace. is doesn't worth it at all. So leave that thing that cost you mental peace. So thank you so much for all of you who joined today, and from the audience who joined today and who listened to us. And most importantly, thank you so much, Andrea, for joining us today and sharing your inspiring story. If anyone wants help, please feel free to inbox Andrea through LinkedIn, through Insta, and I think you're on Facebook as well. Uh,
No, I
okay.
have Facebook, but I'm not doing anything. I
Okay,
might do
okay,
in the future, but not now.
yes. Okay, so any other, like if you have the email address, maybe you can just write it down so we can put it on the chat. So just let us know that how our audience can reach out to you.
They can, well, as you said, can find me via LinkedIn. They can find me on
Yeah,
Instagram, and just send me a DM, and then we take it from there into a more personal meeting. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm always
yeah, and
always.
yeah,
I have every day. I have set hours aside for quick call, because
yeah,
there are often people in need there and then. Because that's the thing, when you make the decision and need to speak up now, and they want to do it then now, and
yeah.
when you wait, you start doubting yourself again. Then then you say to yourself, is it really that bad? Yeah, it's really that bad. Most of the
Yes,
time.
yes. If
Yeah,
if your gut feeling is saying that it's bad, then it is really bad. So
yes.
listen to your gut feeling, and feel free to DM Andrea. She is definitely going to help you out, sort out this problem, and guide you to the right direction. So thank you so much, and have a great evening. Bye bye.
Bye bye.